that kind of like a more romantic backstory sewn into this? Because I feel like previously this film felt like it had a lot more of an explicit, defined romantic relationships. Did you feel that as well, or is that something maybe that I just picked up on?
No, I mean, I'd say definitely you get the sense that Poe and Zori had a romantic past. Yeah.
Was that something that like you found interesting to delve into with Poe, or is that something that you kind of always he's quite an ambiguous, loose, flirtatious character?
Yeah. No, I did like that we were getting to see a bit more color of where he came from, what his past was. But I do think you're right. He's also a guy that's, he's he's a mover and a shaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so far it's been more of a subtextual kind of maybe romantic relationship with Finn a bit, and now this was kind of a more explicit one for the past.
Did you?
Actually, what's funny is I do want to actually bring up something. A lot of people online are very enthusiastic about Poe, and this was my last question about possibly Poe being LGBT and what it means for the first Star Wars character on film to be this way. Can you sort of comment on that? Like, can you confirm or deny, or what does it mean to you?
Well, what it means to me is that people can see themselves in a hero like this, in a movie like this, which I love. Not only LGBT, but Latinos. That there's a representation out there for that. As to actually seeing how that manifests itself in Poe in this film, that isn't going to necessarily be a clear story point in this one. But as an actor and for me, I'm very open to those possible storylines, and I don't think it needs to be nailed down in any kind of traditional way.
I think that there is a deep, deep connection between the two of them. There's a deep, deep connection between me and John. And I think that ended up working out really well because, particularly in the new film, we get to work together a lot. You really get to see Finn and Poe figuring stuff out together. They're on missions together. There's a lot of camaraderie. There's tension. There's fights, as people that are very close have now and then. Ultimately, they believe in each other, and they're a team, along with Ray, who's the MVP. These guys love each other, and the truth is, as a performer, I can only do so much because I don't get to write the scripts, but other than say, I would think that would be a great way for the story to go in a much more original one, but I think that at least what we can say is that it holds that potential. There was an absolute natural chemistry with him. I immediately felt very connected to him. I remember it was an audition, and the two of us just like did that first scene back to back, butt to butt, just like doing the scene together, practicing it in this room. And like, it was just like immediately all kind of artifice, everything just collapsed, and there was like an intimacy that was very, just like there. And I think the fact that neither of us shied away from that while we were shooting as well, I think it just was like, these are two guys that, are happy being intimate with each other. Personally, I kind of hoped and wished that maybe that would have been taken further in the other films, but I don't have control over it. It seemed like a natural progression, but it's still, sadly enough, it's like it's a time when people are too afraid, I think. I mean, I think that was an interesting avenue that could have been. It would have been quite interesting and original, and I think unexpected. So at the same time, I think when there's some ambiguity, it kind of can draw people in, and there's a chance for more people to see themselves in something, So, yeah, but if they would have been boyfriends, that would have been fun.